Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Well, I was scrolling Facebook earlier today, which extremely unusual. I don't know the last time that I've done that. Not a big fan of Facebook. I've been avoiding it for quite a while, actually. And the reason for that is my own mental health, right? Uh, and I haven't missed it. I really haven't missed it. I was reluctant to start a Facebook account, and I got addicted to it, and then now I'm really not missing it all that much at all. Every once in a while I'll go there to look for something, but anyway, while I was scrolling Facebook, I ran across this. It was a picture from of Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder in the film Blazing Saddles. Now, if you're not familiar with Blazing Saddles, the film is absolutely hilarious. There's a dispute as to whether or not it could be made today. I'm not so sure it could be, but people don't understand why that film is funny, right? It is, though. It's hilarious. A lot of people don't understand why. I'll get to that, though. I'll get to that. But this picture of those two guys laughing, and it was a scene from that movie. And if you know that movie, you know that. Actually, I'll get into that now. There is a lot of racism in that movie. There are a lot of other stereotypes, and the reason that it's funny is because it is satire. It is poking fun at people who have those beliefs, right? Making the racists and the bigots and making them look like the idiots that they are, right? But some people think that, well, it's funny because they called this black guy that name. No, 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 no. That has never been funny. That has never been funny. Is that word in the film? Oh, yeah. But, it's... First of all, it was made in 1974. That word was still more widely in use than it is today. Actually, it was pretty widely in use back then, right? We're talking 10 years after the Civil Rights Act passed that this film was made, and it's mocking, it's mocking the people who don't like the progress that's happening in the country at that time. So, anyway, Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder laughing. That's the picture. And it said something to the effect of, millennials are offended by everyone, or millennials are offended by everything. And meanwhile, people born before 1995 are like, and then that picture. Hold on a second. Let me do some math real quick. Oh yeah, people born in 1995 and before, people born in the 80s are millennials. So, I don't know. I don't know who came up with that, because, hate to tell you, but millennials are in their 40s by now. Millennials are in their mid-40s, the older ones are. Yeah. The oldest millennials are in their mid-40s. And the youngest millennials are about 30 or so. So, 30 years ago was, oh yeah, 1995. How about that? So, you don't know even who you're making fun of. I mean, no wonder you find the... I have no doubt that whoever made that meme finds Blazing Saddles to be funny because of the racism that's in it. No, it's not the racism that makes it funny. It is the mockery of the racism that makes it funny. It is the satire, the parody. I mean, it is absolutely hilarious if you understand it for what it is. I understand why a lot of people might be offended by that movie today. I get it. Could it be made today? I don't know. If it could, it would not be done the same way. It would not be done the same way. But, yeah. It's not the racism, and it's not the millennials that you're poking fun at, which kind of shows how smart you really are. You know, I mean, you think they're offended by everything, and you're offended by young people. You know, I mean, young people. You know, people who are 30 and younger, right? So, what defines a millennial anyway? I think it's like 19. It actually depends on who you ask. I mean, there's no hard line. I've seen millennials starting at like 1980, going through like 1997 or so, right? Which would put my son right on the edge of millennial and Gen Z. And it would make my sister right on the edge of Gen X and millennial. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. All I know is I am squarely in Gen X. Squarely. There's nothing close to overlap there. You know, I've got a brother who claims to be Gen X, but he's like right on the edge of Boomer and Gen X. Right? So, who knows? Where exactly are the lines? Nobody really knows. But, yeah, Blazing Saddles. Hilarious movie. But if you're going to poke fun at people who might be offended by it, you know, because of their age, at least know who you're calling out. I mean, millennial is not a catch-all term. I don't know if you think that millennials are all these kids that are born since 2000. No. The millennials are the kids who came of age starting in 2000. That's who your millennials are. You know, they're not... It's not just a catch-all term for everybody younger than you are. Generations are defined, right? Currently alive today, right? We have our Gen Zs. I think Gen Alpha is what comes after the Gen Zs. I think that's what they're calling them. I think names ought to just, you know, come up organically instead of, you know, like Gen Z. Why are they Gen Z? Well, because the millennials were known as Gen Y. But why were the millennials known as Gen Y? Because they followed Gen X. Why was Gen X called Gen X? Because there weren't that many of us, and it was hard to define us, hard to box us in. We were kind of apathetic, didn't really stand for much of anything. You know, I mean, just as a generation, you know, I mean, we pretty much had it good, right? Or so we thought, right? And then you've got your boomers. Now, why are your boomers called the boomers? Because there was a massive baby boom. Gen X, known as the baby bust. You know, because people weren't having as many kids. That's why there's not as many of us. And then before that, you've got your silent generation, and then your greatest generation before that. And it keeps going back, right? So if you're going to make fun of an entire generation, know when that generation, what ages that generation covers. So if you're going to make fun of millennials, but then say that everybody before 1995 is laughing at the millennials, even though almost all of the millennials are before 1995, you don't know who you're poking fun at. Just like you don't know who, a lot of these people also don't know who is being made fun of in Blazing Saddles. Then again, if you go watch old reruns of All in the Family, Archie Bunker, you know, Archie Bunker was the butt of all the jokes. They were making fun of him, not everyone else. You know, it wasn't poking fun at the changes in society. It was poking fun at the people who are not changing with the times. Right? And I'm not saying that all change is good, and change just for the sake of change is often not good. But if the times are changing, change with. And if you don't change with the times, well, you're going to be the butt of the joke. You are going to be the one satirized. Okay? So, you know, I mean, if you're going to hold on to those old beliefs, outdated beliefs, well, that's on you. But just know that you're going to be the target of the satire. And the best part is, you won't even understand it. I'll catch y'all next time.